Hey everybody, it's Cynthia Maynard from CynthiaMaynard.com, and I'm so glad you're with me today watching this. This is my sort of traveling art supply. Interested in watching that, but if not, just wait for the next video. But anyway, I thought I'd share it with you guys. We went on a 10-day trip, a road trip, so not flying, and we traveled to, first of all, Washington, D.C., and then we spent a few days there, and then we went down to, well, we did a day at Busch Gardens in Virginia, and I think that's in Virginia, right? I think it's in Virginia. And then we went down into Colonial Williamsburg, Virginia, and spent 4.5 days there. And great trip. Lots of history. Of course, I'm a history minor, so I love that sort of thing. But we're also homeschoolers, so it's a field trip, like big time. And so it's great for my kids. My daughter is actually going through the Revolutionary War, so it's great timing for that. But I wanted to talk about, this was the first time I brought a lot of art supplies with me. Usually I was going to take with me just some minimal supplies, but I wanted to be able to both paint and have my color pencils with me. So let me show you what I brought. So if in case you're wondering, what's an easy thing to do to travel? Fit into these two things. Okay, so this is a Strathmore watercolor paper journal. Okay, I think I've done videos and things like this before, but so I did some work in here, but then I also have everything else fits inside this bag. I don't know if you remember or have seen a Tuesday morning haul. I found this Dina Wakley bag, or you could use something very similar to this. What I liked about this is it was roomy and long and still compact. So let me show you what I put inside of here. So this is all I brought with me. I got this from Amazon, and it's a Field Artist brand, isn't it cute? Watercolor journal. So I brought that with me. Very compact. You can sketch in it, you can watercolor in it. And it's very easy. You can even just throw it in your purse if you don't even want to bother with the whole bag, and just bring a pencil and come home later and paint. But I decided to pop it in here. It fits nicely in here. I brought my Prismacolor whole set of color pencils and the sharpener, which is a little bit moody. I don't know, does anybody else have problems with this Prismacolor sharpener? It's nice in the sense that it's a nice design. But it has two sharpeners so that you can get two different points on it. One's really pointy and one's more of a wide, so that you can do different things. But anyway, I popped that in there. What else do I have here? I have so many little watercolor palettes. I had to pick one, so I went with the Prima Marketing Classics, just because I knew that if I didn't have the color in the set, I could just make the color from a good standard one, probably why it's called the Classics. And there are lots of things you can make with this. As you can see here, I was making lots of interesting colors. So I brought that, and of course to go with that, I brought a set of watercolor brushes and a few different tips. I've got 3 in here. Let's see here. So I brought those, and I filled them up with water before I left, and I have never had to refill them. So I felt like, depending on what you're doing, I didn't need a ton of water. Look, they're still almost completely full. So I also brought one piece of paper towel, and I used that the whole time. I brought one lead pencil, just a regular sketching quick one with a good eraser, and I did bring an extra eraser in case I needed that. So I did bring my white Uniball the gel pen, because this shows up very opaque white on top of a lot of media. So this is a favorite of mine. It's the Signo Uniball UM153 if you're interested in that. Prismacolors are in here, and the only other thing I brought was my set of Pitt pens, because I thought it's an easy little set to grab. Brush pen, so you're able to do some brush work if that is what you're after. And then it comes with an extra small and the small, and I think there's a medium that I must not have brought. But anyway, of course you can get individual ones of these. You don't have to buy them in the set. But these are Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen, and they are Indie ink and waterproof. So that's why I brought that, because I knew I'd be watercoloring. Alright, and that's basically what I fit in here. It's my whole set of Prismacolors. So I knew I had lots of choices because I like a lot of times to watercolor and then go in with colored pencil. I did most of my work in here. I did do a few things in here. I did her. I had this previously down, this pink shimmery background here, and so sometimes I'll do that if I'm having like a very non-creative day. I'll just go in and stencil something or throw some paint down, and then later you have sort of a page started. So I went ahead and I drew her on there. She's got a combination of Pitt pens and watercolor and color pencil. And I kind of almost didn't finish certain things. I thought, well, I'm going to go back home and finish it up and whatever. But I kind of had a moment I needed to create. I was in a car for 6.5 hours a few times and 3 hours another time. And so I just had to have some way to get some things out. So it was nice traveling, very easy to do, especially when you're on a toll road and you don't have a lot of bumps. But anyway, I have her. What else did I do? I messed up my coffee cup, but I was trying to draw some coffee cups. We were having coffee. That's from a different time there. Oh, I painted that. I think that was in our hotel. So, well, different flowers there. Just trying to experiment with some different leaves and things and doing some more dry brush swirlies and things like that. I painted this. It definitely needs some more detail work done on the building by far, but I just wanted to get it down. We had just gone through the Capitol in DC, and that building, which this is not a proper representation of it at all, but this was just a quickie thought, I guess. And that's the nice thing about art journaling, is you can kind of get these sort of baby thoughts out onto your paper, and then later that will inspire you to expand on that. Or this will jog a memory. When I see this now, I'm going to think of that trip or whatever. So that's the whole point, really, of art journaling. You know, so I just made some trees and things. Wanted to do something a little different with the building. Little starters here. You can tell I started something we must have had to get out, and I didn't finish it, but little beginnings that can be gone to back later. And let's see here. I really messed up her mouth. Here's an example of, I thought, you know, when I come home, I'm going to do something else with this paint. Because it happens, you know, you draw and you go down, and she's got like 2 sets of mouths. She's got 2 mouths. Like one up here, one down here. I don't know what I was thinking. It's like Picasso. I don't know. Been sturdy. So you can watercolor on both sides, which is nice. It's great for traveling too. Not very expensive, about $7. Alright, so this little field one, now this paper is quite different than the paper I'm used to using. It almost has it has a tooth to it, but I almost felt like my watercolor sat on top a little bit more than I'm used to using the Strathmore or Canson. And so I had to get used to that. Once I got used to it, it was fine. But truth be told, on the first thing here, I was really, yeah, it took me by surprise, especially on this one. You can kind of see it leaves the pattern under there a little bit, and it kind of sat on top. So it's toward the beginning of the trip. I was just kind of warming up. She's all color pencil, I believe. Yeah. Just having some fun with some color pencils. Didn't want to grab the paint set out because I had to have it on my lap, which is fine. It's not like it's heavy or anything. But Matt, she's just a brush pen. I'm not sure I really like her face, but whatever. This is a watercolor wash that I had put down, and then later in the trip I went back and just put color pencils everywhere. It made her really colorful, so I kind of like how she turned out. Like the color. Just kind of giving us an intense look there. I think I used the yellow from the paint set and just kind of did a basic shape, and then really went to town layering color pencils on top of that. And I have even some of that white gel pen there. Just, I don't know, just looking for some color, using my brain. Started to draw a fort. I don't know why. I think we drove by a fort, and I didn't do anything else with that. So we'll see what we do with that. So you can see different stages that you don't have to feel like, oh, I've got to make this little masterpiece on this little page, and I can't move on until that one's done. I mean, art is inspiration, and if you're not inspired to continue on that right now, maybe that's not the best time for you to do it, because then you might mess it up or something. Force it like my other girl here, you know. So just leave it and come back to it at a time you're inspired to finish it. She's very unfinished, right? I don't even know if you can see that. And then she's just pencil. I was just doing some practice there. Some more watercolor flowers. Just playing with some more softer grays and blues, mostly there. Very generic. This was actually, I saw for the first time. I go on these road trips. Sorry, this is so chit-chatty. I go on these road trips and like everyone sees the bear or sees the eagle or sees the moose, and I don't. I'm like 10 seconds too late. And so finally we were driving along and I saw this bald eagle flying, and he was soaring above these trees, and that's our national bird, of course. And where I live in Michigan, you don't really get to see them. I'm in the lower peninsula, and unless you go to the zoo, you don't get to see them. So just to finally see one in flight, it was really cool. So I was going to start to draw that, and then I think you got talking with my husband, and so that could be eyebrows or that could be bird wings. We'll see what it ends up being. Little sweater. It was turning chilly, so I was drawing a sweater in. We had weird weather on this trip. All over pattern. I was kind of inspired by the dresses at Colonial Williamsburg, where they have those all over calico prints, and so I was kind of doing that. Of her, she's all pencil, so I'm looking forward to finishing her. I like how she turned out, kind of a 40s, 50s neckline there, and I like her face, how she turned out, so I was happy with that. A building, just in its very generic stage, with some arched windows, and then just more of a cartoony, fun girl. My daughter liked her. So I was playing around with, you know, sort of a different style of base, French inspiration there. And then as we were leaving the mountains and going back to Flat, Michigan, at least where I'm from, I was just kind of playing around with rivers and a little waterfall going off the back, and some of the neat sky colors. And this is watercolor with color pencil, and just layering and layering. It would dry really, really quickly, and then I was able to layer on top, and it would dry quickly, and so forth. So that's that, more of a landscapey element there. Another flower with some layered on color pencil and watercolor. And then I made these little, these were fun. I just took my paintbrush and dipped it in my watercolor and just kind of made shapes, generic shapes. And then I kind of let the shape help me to see which way their head was turning. So like, if you notice, like, she's kind of looking straight on, but, you know, her face is straight on, but her eyes are looking that way. Whereas her head is really turned more on an angle. And so I kind of let the shape kind of tell me where to do. So it's kind of a neat little exercise to try if you ever do that. Just take that and kind of go, I just used a big brush stroke and then a neck and then like that. And we'll do a video on that sometime because it was super fun. And I like how they turned out. There's like little, they remind me of like Weeble Wobbles, or what are they called? Weeble Wop? Is that right? Like when you're a kid and you have those toys and they have like no arms or anything, but they're all like body and head and neck. Then I just did a watercolor wash. I don't know what I'll do with that, but I felt like putting different colors down. And then I went back to those girls, and this time I did them in the blue, teal, and the red. And again, they kind of just, it's fun to just kind of have that organic face shape and just kind of let it do its thing. So, and I like white hair with the color look. Like how that looks. I don't know. Then I did more of like this isn't quite finished, but I did a tabletop with like more of a vase there. So many beautiful things in Colonial Williamsburg and the houses, like the Governor's Palace, that I just kind of painted that idea, I guess. I think that was it. And leave a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already, so that you get updated videos. Thanks guys so much for joining me, and have a great day.